Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. No matter how you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And you know, we always like to celebrate the people in our community doing the really hard work. And there's a lot of people that spend a lot of time making sure that they're taking care of others. None do it better than the Haven. And Julie Pelican. Julie, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Keith. I'm really happy to be here today.
I appreciate it. Executive Director at the Haven. For how long?
About 22 years.
About 22 years, which is just remarkable. Let's talk a little bit, for people that don't know, tell people what wonderful work is being done at the Haven with your group.
So the Haven is a local nonprofit organization serving the communities of both Terrebonne and Lafourche.
Right.
Our main goal is to provide victims of sexual or domestic violence a safe place to turn. With that, we provide a whole host of services, the most critical being an emergency shelter where we can take in a family who is in imminent danger of abuse and help them to become safe. During that time, we help them with whatever legal resources they may need, food, clothing, shelter, obviously, counseling, and just the opportunity to start over in a violence-free life.
And it's such a wonderful and necessary need. It's sad that it's a need, but it's a need. And that's just kind of where it is. What would be more sad if we didn't have the Haven for people that needed it. And so such a wide array of support. And that's really what happens. You guys have support and provide that support to so many people that need it in Terrebonne and Lafourche. And so y'all service quite a number and quite a large number of people.
Yeah, we're servicing about 500 families annually, and those families come to us in a variety of different programs, whether that's our emergency shelter. In the last 4 years, we've been so fortunate to receive funding to provide a second stage housing program where we can subsidize rent for families who need a little extra time to get back on their feet. We have a medical advocacy program, a legal services program, and a counseling program. So throughout all the different programs that we have, we're servicing about 500 families. I do want to say that that is absolutely only possible because of the kind of support we enjoy from this community that we are so fortunate to have.
Right.
When I go to other parts of the state, even when I'm on some national calls, bigger communities have less services because they don't have the kind of foundation that we have here in these communities where the citizens, businesses, and everybody comes together to make sure that we're providing for the needs of victimized individuals.
And it's been so much more difficult to do since COVID, even way more difficult since Ida. And let's just talk about how y'all have been able to have such resiliency to be able to continue. I mean, serving 500 families, that's a lot. And you've got some extra programs for people that need the help a little bit longer. And I can imagine that COVID and Ida didn't make that more complicated.
Yeah, it's interesting. I said I've been doing this for 22 years, and each year you think, oh, it'll get a little better, a little bit better.
Right. It's supposed to get a little easier as we go along,
but
right?
It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And then,
Right.
And then all of us were so impacted by COVID, and then just to see the devastation of our community for Ida. I grew up in Chauvin, and so just the knowledge of what happened to a community like Chauvin, that I have all of my foundational memories were developed there.
Right.
But the reality is COVID and Ida impacted every system
Sure.
in our community,
Sure.
and violence just as heavily, or if not more, than others.
Right.
There are less resources available to people. There are less housing options available to people.
Right.
And every time you take away options available to people who are living in violence, you make their lives a little more critical, and it makes them have access to less resources that allow them to escape that. And so the level of violence, the amount of abuse that we're seeing has dramatically increased in the last 3 years.
And, we've seen people who are home a whole lot more that wouldn't have been, and some of the issues that take place when they weren't at home or now where everybody is close by, like COVID. And then for Ida, maybe with the tremendous increased stress, maybe you do or don't have that job, but maybe you're in a much smaller place, or you don't have a place at all.
Right.
And that just creates so much more stress. And so it's like, for social workers like me, it's so very appreciative that y'all work so tirelessly to make these things happen. And again, great community support.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that can do that. One of the ways that y'all are able to get that support is the Gala.
Yes.
And so I know that, we didn't have the chance of Lucy and Tiffany being here, the co-chairs, of course. Lucy Watkins, the co-chair of the event, and Tiffany Adams, co-chair of the event. And they've worked really, really hard at that. And so just kind of a shout out to them about doing the gala this year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we are so fortunate to have Tiffany and Lucy on our team, board members, and they have such incredible spirits and such an incredible commitment to this community and
Passion.
making sure that we have the Haven has the resources that they need. They are volunteers, they are board members, but they use all of that passion to ensure that those resources are here for the families that need it. So it's such a pleasure and such a privilege for me to be able to work with them.
And we always support them doing the thing that we want them to be able to say, family's important, and family needs to come first. And we appreciate the fact that they put family first when they have the opportunity to be able to do that.
Yes.
And so that's a good thing. So family first is a focus, right, at the Haven.
Absolutely, yes. We always want to make sure that families come first and that the families have what they need and feel the love and the support. I always say that in the time that I've been doing this, that, I've certainly seen the most atrocious things that can happen to a person and what a person who claims to love you might do to you or might
Right.
do to children. And it's hard to comprehend. But at the same time, I've also seen the amount of love and support that people who don't even know other people will pour into them to make sure that they're safe and secure. And that is inspiring, and that is what has kept me going in all of these years.
So the gala. And, I don't even think about it. There's been galas over the course of the years of my life that I've been involved in. But if I hear gala, I think of the Haven. Oh. And that's where it's supposed to be, right? And so it's exciting this year. It's going to be on March 25th, on the evening of March 25th at 7 o'clock.
6:30.
6:30. See, I'm going to be late. And it's at the Barry Bonville Civic Center.
It is.
Which is really exciting. So we're expecting a big crowd. We need a lot of people because the Haven needs the resources. That's the deal.
Absolutely.
And it's been a challenge over the last few years. Let's talk about what we've done. We've done some very creative things. Let's talk about how we've gotten to this point.
We have had to get creative over the years. We kind of start this event is 21 years in the making. They started it before I came to the Haven, but it was a very small thing.
Mm-hmm.
It originally was in the East Park Recreation Center. Probably had about 100 people who would gather
Right.
to do this. And so over the years, it's just we've tried to create new, more exciting things, and we've now ended up in the Civic Center,
Right.
Which is fantastic. So we're going to have about 30 to 35 restaurants and chefs who will serve each their own unique dish. So it'll be delicious. We have the Cane Breakers who are
Right.
going to perform, which we're real excited about. Local band, local people helping to raise money for local families.
Right. Great music.
Yeah, love them. And then we're going to have a silent and live auction as well. There'll be a bar. And so it'll be just a really good time for a really good cause. So we're super excited to have it.
Wonderful time to do it, right? March 25th. It's going to be, that springtime, that feeling of spring. Cane Breakers with great music, great chefs, right? We'll have a little alcohol for those that need to relax. and just the cause is the most important thing. And people just need to realize that you just can't function without the funds. We'd like to say it differently, but that's just the way it is.
It's really true. One of the things that is true for agencies like ourselves is that if you want to pull in federal projects or you want to have grant funding, you must prove that your community will put up 20% of the cost of your projects. You have to demonstrate that there is a community that is involved, who believes in the program and will support the projects. Otherwise, you can't have those larger scale projects like our whole second stage housing program.
Right.
That is a direct result. I mean, we are one of the smallest communities that the federal government, the HUD, awarded a project to. And that comes directly because we could prove the need, but we could also prove that the community would be there for us and they would support it. So this gala raises critical funds that help us to leverage other projects that otherwise this community would not have available to families.
Wow. And again, that, it's just 1/5, it's 20%. But at the same time, everybody's saying, look, if your community is dedicated to it, we can dedicate funds to it. And you've never had a problem saying 20% of it is supported by this community. And so that's a wonderful thing. And to be able to do it for both parishes, for Terrebonne and Lafourche, to be able to support that is just wonderful.
Yeah, it's incredible, and it speaks to the resiliency of families here. It speaks to the resiliency of our community, and it speaks to really the overall hope that this community is willing to provide for families who are in so much need. And even though we've all probably suffered to some degree over the last couple of years between COVID and Ida, we're still there for people who are even less fortunate than we are.
And it's not only those less fortunate people, and I want you to hear me out there. So if you are struggling with, and you are a victim of abuse, and you identify that, it's so very important that you know that there are people that care. You need to know that you're important, and you need to know that there's help. Julia, let's give out some information about how people can reach you at the Haven for help, and then how people can kind of be a part of the gala.
Yeah, so great. Yeah, if you need help, we are here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can call us by dialing 985-872-0757. We answer that phone line 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's always an advocate there who can help you to make a plan. If you cannot make a phone call, but if you can get to an emergency room or a sheriff's office or a police department, they all have our contact information. No questions asked, they'll help you make that phone call to us, and we'll get somebody out there to be able to help you get to a safe place, or even just present you what your options are.
Right.
You can also just use that number to call if you want to get involved with the gala, 985-872-0757. You can ask for myself or Daphne or anybody who answers the phone will be able to point you in the right direction. We also have a website, Haven Helps, so it's going to be HAVENHELPS.org. All of the information related to the gala or how you can get involved, donate to the agency, donate to the gala, attend, any kind of information you need, you'll be able to find on that website.
And again, so very exciting just to know that it's happening, to know that it's live and people can see it, it's front and center, and it celebrates one of the more iconic places as people grow and their organizations get bigger and their events get bigger. You stop and end at the Barry P. Bonvillain Civic Center, right?
Yeah.
So that's how you know that you've got to reach that elite event status. You have to go to the biggest place that we can do that in town.
It's been such an honor for me to watch that grow because, like I said, we started at a smaller location, but even when we moved to the Civic Center, we were in the meeting rooms on the side.
That is correct.
Then we were in half the arena. Then we were in 3/4 of the arena. Now we're using the whole arena.
Full
and
arena.
So it's just such an incredible experience for me every year to see the amount of people who are willing to support our mission and who really believe in what we're doing. It's an honorable thing for me to be able to be a part of.
For 22 years, you've been supporting that, and they've been supporting you, and we're glad the community's doing it. And thank you for all the good and hard work that you do. And we want people to get out there.
Yes.
So go to the gala. I promise you're going to enjoy it, and I'll see you there. And that will do it for this particular segment of Value Time. Don't go anywhere. A lot more local programming right here on HTV.